Hi everybody. I know I'm a couple minutes early, but sometimes the internet doesn't work like it's supposed to. So I thought I would come on a little early, and that way it might be better than coming on late. So we'll wait and see who else will show up. Oh, I got one person. I got my wolf t-shirt on today. I'll start off in this direction, and then I'll flip the camera over and we'll get started on our wolf, or start finishing him up. I wanted to tell you, now this has been a really fun project, and thank you for joining me. Wait just another minute. I surely appreciate it. And next week on Friday, I won't do a Facebook Live. I'm planning on doing one Saturday from my workshop. So I will post a note about that on my Facebook page. I'm having a workshop this weekend on Saturday and Sunday, and I thought you might all like to see what goes on at one of my workshops. So hi Mary and hi Marianne. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what I've been doing on Niko, and we'll get started. So bear with me. I just like to say hello in person before I turn the camera around. Let's see if I can do it like I'm supposed to. I always have trouble doing this. Hang on, you guys. Here we go. There's my studio. And here's Niko, or what's going on with him so far. Hi Veronica, hi Trina, hi Diona. Thank you all for tuning in. Now this is Niko. This is what we were doing, have been working on the last couple weeks. And I know you don't get to see all of him, but you get to see some of the things that I do to bring my animals to life. Now last week we worked on the ears, and what I did this week while you guys were gone, I decided that the ears were warmer. This wolf, he's black, but he has a lot of warm fur, and that's what I like so much about doing black animals, is that you get to add so much color to them. And so I decided that the ears were a little cool, too cool, so I added some warm color, some warm hair. And what I used to do that with was my new Pastel 253, which I'm going to talk to you more about. And so what I did was I added some warmer strokes, and particularly on the edge of the ear and on the inside of the ear, like so. I left the gray ones, and I wanted to tell you also, when things get too bright, which sometimes happen, and I felt like, excuse me, these hairs were too bright. So if I want to push them back into the background, I'm going to take my black Rembrandt 700.5 and just go over them a little bit, and that pushes them into the background. Now, the other thing I did last week, now you can tell I did a lot of things, but I finished the nose. I put some snow on the nose. I didn't put a lot of detail in the nose. I think I'll add a little bit more. Because he's so dark, you really couldn't see too much. I'll make this a little darker here with my black. Now I put the snow on with new pastel. And my new pastel, this is just a little piece that's left. I sharpened it to a point, and I'll just kind of dab it on like so. And give him a snow nose, and he had gotten a lot of snow on his chin, and so I kind of played around with that. I also put some hair around in this area. That looks pretty good. But I wanted to show you what I did down in here. Let's see if I can push this up a little more so you can see it. This area, one thing that drew me to this photograph is the backlit hair. I just love backlighting. And up in here and over here, there's a lot of backlit hair. So I wanted to get this to look, to show that, but not be too bright. So what I did, I put down the colors we put down last week, which were the gray and the blue and the brown, but I reversed the order. This time I put the brown down first so that this would be browner, because I wanted it to be warmer. I said that wrong. I did put it down first. I put it down last. I put the blue down first, and then I put the brown over that so it would be warmer. So then I went to add my hairs. And I used 263, which is a new pastel, which is a bright red. And that was very nice. I used the sharpen edge. To draw down some of these hairs. But it was a little dark, so I needed something lighter. And that's where I got a 253 cocoa brown and used the edge to put in some lighter hairs. Now, I hope that's... Hi, Sabrina. Thank you for joining us. So this is, makes a warmer, light hair. Then to make it a little bit lighter, I'm going to use 276 buff. Again, I'm using the edge. And put in just these hairs that the sun is catching. Then if you want to add some very fine hairs, use your white charcoal pencil. Now up in here it's blacker, so I want to make this blacker. So we do the behinder things first, right? So I'm going to use the edge of my new pastel black. And draw some black hairs down. Pardon me, that's the problem with live TV, right? I got a frog in my throat. Now I don't want to cover up all the brown that I put in, but just enough. Come down a ways. I also wanted to tell you, I'm going to use the end and just make it nice and black. And that's looking very nice. I like that. I like the way that looks. Now I'm going to add a few details up in the face. I want to go back in and add a little black around the eyes. I got a little too much weight. I wanted to tell you guys also, when we're layering these colors, something that Leslie Harrison taught me was that a harder pastel will push softer pastel into the paper. So I found that I wanted to make some of these areas blacker. So what I did was I broke off a piece of black, I sanded it, and then used the flat edge to push the color into the paper. Or you can use the flat bottom and do the same thing to push the color in. Now what I wanted to do today was start work on this hair. This hair is it. He's got his winter coat, so he's got lots of nice hair. This is the top of his coat that meets the background. I've put in a couple of strokes there with the charcoal pencil because I want to know where that ends into the background. I colored in my background already. We can add more later. So back behind here, it's gotten much cooler. His face is very cool with hints of warm. It gets warmer under here, and then he gets very kind of blue-gray as we go towards the back. So I'm going to, what I did was I added a base coat of 727.5 Rembrandt that I've sanded smooth because it's a blue-gray. So I want to make this a little cooler than this area. And I want to put this in first so I can do this fur. Put the behinder things in first. Does that make sense? And then I'm going to use the blue color, 5083, or you can use 305 New Pastel. Here's a little piece that I broke off. So I'm going to put some blue in. And bring that around here. Well, hi Lois and Susan, thank you for joining us. I'm going to put the blue in. On top of the blue, I'm going to put 704.3 Rembrandt, which is a dark gray. Just a little bit. And I'm not going to put brown on that, I don't think, because it's supposed to, I want it a little bit cooler. Now I could go back and change my mind because I'm not going to work out very far, but I am going to put a little bit of black Rembrandt 700.5 just behind this area. Now, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I had drawn in some white hairs in this area to mark where this began. So this helps me to see where to begin and stop painting to form this area of fur. Okay, now behind his ear, right behind here are some lovely black tip gray hairs. I'm going to use New Pastel 289. And add a few of these hairs. And then I'm going to use my 229 New Pastel, the edge, to pull out the black hairs. Now you can't see it too much, but this is the edge of where we're working, where I'm putting in these. This is black. Line of hair. I'm going to make this a little blacker. I'm going to use, I'm going to switch to the Rembrandt 700. Now, I'm going to use my $2.99 new pastel. It's very sharp. And start adding some hair. You need to be very careful about the direction. I think I'm going to switch back to the 289. Just a little bit darker shade of gray. Now, I want to tell you that if you're uncomfortable using a pastel like that, hi Patty, thanks for joining us. You can use your white charcoal pencil. So if I want to get a nice white line and you don't feel comfortable using a new pastel, you can use your white charcoal pencil. I kind of like to drag it kind of laying down on its side and twist as I go to make some of these wiry hairs. Now, the other thing, I don't think it's quite dark enough in here, so I'm going to take my black charcoal, just add a little more black hair back into it. Thank you, Patty. I'm glad you like Niko. He's a beauty. So I've gone back to my 289. And if you are working or you can't stay, the video will be, I think, archived on my Facebook page. And I'll also add it to my YouTube channel. And we're not going to go all the way down. We'll go back and I'll sharpen up my pencil and my block and wipe it off. And add some sharp hairs. Okay, get that little spot off, blowing it off. And if the edges are a little too pronounced, just work them back into your painting. We'll add a few hairs down here. I found that in my personal painting, I use the pencil more than I used to. I also wanted to tell you guys, I really appreciate you coming to the Facebook Lives. I enjoy them because I think I can tell you more things even then I get to tell my classes, because this allows me to work slowly on a picture. That's looking pretty good. To me, this is starting to show the depth of hair on his coat that I was wanting to get. So let's move on. I'm going to add some color down in this area. So we added some black and we added some gray. Add a little more black. Add some more gray. So we added gray, then we added blue. So this is 305 blue. But what I'm going to do now, this is warmer down. I didn't use the brown before, but this time I'm going to add the, let me see where I put it. Here we go. 538.5 Mars Violet. Warm this up. This is why I love velour paper. You can get such depth of color with the layers. Now the dark gray, 70, wrong color, sorry. I get a little nervous. 704.5. And then the black. And a little more Mars Violet. You can see that this process takes a long time, but it's worth it. The effects are just beautiful. And this is the end of my black. Make it a little blacker down here. And you could also, last week we talked about the Giraud black and how black it is. If you missed last week and you wanted to see how I started the wolf, it's also on this Facebook page and on YouTube. I think I'm going to add a little more brown. It's looking pretty good. Now up at the top, this is our blue-gray, and then our blue. So I can change the temperature of the fur. Even though it's all black fur, I can change it by what undercoat I use. So I'm not going to put brown on this like I did down here because I want it to be cooler. So I'm going to put the dark gray. And the black Rembrandt 700.5. bit of the Giraud right at this edge. Now, as it comes right out on the edge, I want to add some warmer hairs before I go into the gray hair again. Because these wolves, as they get older, they get more and more white hair until they turn white. And he gets a lot of brown from the sun. Turns his hair colors. So this is 253. Cocoa brown. Just add a few hairs right here. Then we'll go back to the gray hairs. Now, as I'm thinking about it and looking at my painting, I think what I want to do is get a few brighter hairs. So I'm going to use my new Pastel 211 white, the sharp edge. And just add a few brighter hairs. Then I'll switch to the gray, the 289. I don't want these hairs on his back to be as prominent as his face. Switch to 299 gray. It's just a little bit brighter. And in case you weren't here last week, Niko lives at Wolf Park in Indiana. So these hairs are a little less distinct. They're a little shorter. Rub those a little bit with my finger. Use the 253 to add a few warmer hairs. A little bit brighter ones. Okay, now right here, that's kind of blobby, and I don't like that. So I'm going to take my black, new pastel. You could use your charcoal pencil and just go over it. Any ones that you think are too prominent on the end. It's just going back and forth and working it till you get it like you want it. I'm going to use my pencil, my white charcoal pencil. I'm going to add a few. Brighter hairs. They're kind of wiry, which is kind of cool. Their coat is just very thick and very luxurious. Oh, Marianne's inspired. Good. Go and do likewise, Marianne. And before I go, I'll just do a little bit down here. I need you guys to tell me what you would like to see, what inspires you, because I'm really just kind of shooting in the dark here. Next week, on Saturday, I'm using 263 and 253. The class we're having is called a weekend workshop, and what that means is it's very limited, only 6 people. And they'll all be working on something different, a project that they started, and they'll be finishing them up here. So everybody will be working on a different thing. It's very exciting to see what people come up with. And then this is the 276. Let me sharpen it up a little bit. Patty's going to be here, aren't you, Patty? Patty will be here next weekend, and Trina will be here. We'll have a good time. So Niko's looking pretty good. And we'll come back with the new pastel and put the some black hairs in. Niko has a little patch of white hair. Down in this area. So I'll put a little bit of it in. And you can't see it, but the hair goes down further. Now, one thing I see, it's not quite right. This needs to blend better with the fur. So I'm going to pull a few hairs over here. This is the 299 gray. I think that's going to be it for today. I don't want to keep you. Eileen asked if this could be painted with Rembrandts. Eileen, half of it actually is painted with Rembrandts. If you can go back and when it comes up for replay, you can see that I use Rembrandts for my base coats and new pastels over top. Works best for me. So until next week, and I hope you will all join in next week and join us for a workshop. Happy painting. Please send me your questions and what you would like to see. Thank you, Peggy. I appreciate your comment that that this inspires you. I want to inspire you. Hi, Mary. I want to encourage you in your artwork and help you any way I can into your journey. So I also know that, I don't want to keep you here all afternoon. But have a great weekend. Happy painting. Send me your questions, and I will see you again soon. Thank you all.